ASMR Retro Forever. Hey guys, welcome back to ASMR Retro. Today I'm continuing my CD collection series, and this is part 2 of my Megadeth collection. On the last episode, I got up to euthanasia, I believe, so I'll continue on from there. I hope you enjoy the video. So, first up is Megadeth, Cryptic Writings. Let me just grab my notes here. Okay, yeah, so Cryptic Writings, this was released in 1997. The band lineup was Dave Mustaine on vocals and rhythm and lead guitars, Dave Ellefson on bass, Marty Friedman on lead guitar, and Nick Menza on drums. So basically it is the same lineup as their previous albums. Well, since rest in peace, that is. So this is actually the remastered version. That's why the cover looks different. I think originally it was like kind of a silver color. I do prefer the original cover, although I don't think either covers are all that great. And I prefer the original. Like, this is an album that doesn't really need to be remastered in my opinion, and it sounds worse. It sounds like kind of soft. We'll talk about that later, but before I get into that, I wanted to tell kind of a funny story. If you don't really care about the stories, I guess skip ahead. What can I say? But so when this album came out, Megadeth came to Toronto to do a show to support the album, I guess. And to promote the show, Dave went on this local talk show. It was called Open Mic with Mike Bullard. This was in the Toronto area, if I didn't say that already. So I'm from Canada, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I have to watch this show. And this was like a really low-budget, late-night talk show, but it was kind of funny. I would watch it from time to time. The host was very good at improvising, but so Dave goes on this show, and I remember me and my brother were watching it, and I actually taped it too. But so at the time, Dave had like kind of short hair, like he cut his hair at kind of shoulder length, and it was kind of poofy. Looked kind of funny actually. But so Dave comes out, you know, the crowd cheers, whatever. He goes to sit down, and when the crowd quiets down, this one guy in the audience is like, "Nice dude," like, you know, hairdo, nice hairdo, because basically making fun of him. He's like, "Nice dude," but he said it so funny and so loud and so crisp, and everyone heard it, and obviously, and it's pretty hilarious. And then Dave like noticed, and he looked in the audience, and he's like, he said something. I don't want to repeat it. Not really cool to say these days, but he kind of made fun of the guy in the audience who said it. And then the host was like, "Oh, I believe he said nice dude." And Dave's like, "Yeah." So Dave, you can tell Dave was like upset about that. But later on in the interview, Dave was explaining how he was like I think her name is Susan Lucci of heavy metal, because he was nominated for several Grammys over the years, but he never won any. And then the host, Mike Bullard, goes, "Man, that's Susan Lucci. She has a nice do." And then Dave's like, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't know if I like that comment." So I thought it was pretty funny improvising by the host there. And to this day, what makes me laugh is to this day, me and my brother still say "nice do" when we see somebody with, like, let's say we're watching a movie and somebody has like a funny hairstyle, we'll be like, "Nice do." And it makes me laugh because this was like over 20 years ago. You know, the guy who said it in the audience, like, he never thought that 20 years later, you know, two brothers who saw that would still use that line as a catchphrase kind of thing. So, and it also makes me laugh that he just blurted it out, like, he saw somebody with a funny hairstyle, and he just said out loud what came to mind, like, without any hesitation, which is completely opposite of how I am. I am usually very reserved, but I don't know, to this day, if I think about it, I'll just start laughing. So just thought I'd share that. So anyways, back to the album here. Like I said, the album artwork isn't the greatest. It's kind of been Megadeth's one of their weaknesses, but can't really blame them, I guess. But so let's look at the track listing. Trust Vortex, and or FFF, I guess. I don't know what that stands for, but. And then, I guess because this is the remastered version, it has a Spanish version of Trust, Evil That's Within, and Vortex, alternate version, and Bullbrick, which Bullbrick I believe is the same as FFF but with different lyrics or something like that. But so what do I think about this album? I actually like this album a lot. It took a long time to grow on me. I remember when it came out, I was disappointed initially. It's not what I wanted at that time from Megadeth. I was hoping they'd go back to like really, thrash heavy roots. And this album isn't really that. Although, there is one song, The Disintegrators, number 5. I think this is easily the best song on the album, and it is pretty much a thrash song, and this could be on one of their original albums easily. It's just an amazing song. It gets me like so hyped up, amazing song. But a lot of the other songs are more, I don't know what's the word, modern, less heavy, and less thrash, kind of a sign of the times. But they're still good, very catchy songs, very well written, and I have to say Dave's vocals are very good on this album too. It sounds like he was putting a lot into it. Had a lot of, I don't know if range is the right word, but he had that gravelly, grainy voice, I guess, at certain times to emphasize certain things. But so yeah, Trust is a pretty good song, pretty good way to start the album, I guess. Almost Honest isn't bad. Use the Man, which I'm pretty sure is about drug abuse. Mastermind, like I said, The Disintegrators, great song. What else is good? She-Wolf is a very good song too. I remember actually I saw a video of one of their live concerts, and they did She-Wolf, and I remember that's when I kind of noticed, like, hey, that song's actually pretty good. Maybe the Cryptic Writings is a pretty good album after all. Let me go give it a second chance. And I think that kind of helped me get into the album more. But it took a long time for me really to appreciate it, I guess. The album, that is. And Vortex and FFF are, I remember if you watch the Making of Euthanasia documentary, which is an awesome documentary, by the way. I love those kind of documentaries. But you can hear them playing parts of these songs. I don't know if they're just jamming or they were gonna thought about if those songs are supposed to be on Euthanasia or not, but you can hear them playing both of these songs at different points. And like I said, Bullbrick, I think Dave mentioned, and I saw an interview or something, I got the name of the song because I think he was in a hotel or something, hungover, trying to sleep, and he heard like this loud noise coming from outside, and he sees like this construction, they're doing construction or whatever, and there was some machinery that was like, pounding into the ground or whatever, and he asked the construction guy what it was called, and he said the machine was called the Bullbrick, so I guess he liked the name, that's stuck anyways. So yeah, I really like this album a lot. Not one of my favorites, but it is very well made in my opinion. And something else, oh yeah, like I said, the remaster I don't think is good though. I would definitely get the original version. It has a less, it just sounds heavier. This sounds soft. Looks like they put some like audio filter over it to just softened everything. I don't know why they would do that, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, next up is Risk, and this was released in 1999. And the lineup was the same except for the drummer was now Jimmy DeGrasso. Wow, what can I say about this album? This was a huge, well, first of all, the cover is not great. It's another, I mean, would you be interested? Would this album cover catch your eye if you saw it at the store? Not really. But anyways, riskier. They were trying to change their sound, go with a more radio-friendly sound. And it's not a heavy metal album by any means. It's like a soft rock album at best. And of course, at the time, once again, this was not what I was hoping for, or what I was looking for. But this is what we got. So, when it was originally released, I absolutely hated the album. I was like, what the hell is this? This is not what I want. And, you know, honestly, this isn't, like I said, it's not heavy metal. And it doesn't sound like a Megadeth album at all. It doesn't deserve that name. But if you just look at it as a hard/soft rock album, there is some good stuff on here. There is some really good songs, some well-written songs on here, some catchy stuff. The first song, though, Insomnia, is a bad song. This is such a bad way to start the album, and I don't know, it just irritates me. Maybe that's what he was going for. Like, Insomnia is supposed to be annoying, so they made an annoying song. I don't know. I just don't like that song. Prince of Darkness isn't bad. I think there's some nice riffs in there. Maybe their heaviest song, I don't know. Enter the Arena is just kind of like an intro to Crush 'Em. Crush 'Em was a song that was on the Universal Soldiers 2 soundtrack, or 3, one of the Universal Soldiers movies. Actually, I remember they were on, I'm pretty sure Megadeth performed this song. Was it on WCW? Yeah, it was WCW, because Bill Goldberg is in Universal Soldier 2 or 3, whatever it is. So they had Megadeth perform the song live. I remember seeing that on WCW Nitro, I think it was. Some interesting trivia there. Breadline is actually a really cool song. Might be my favorite song on the album. Very cool song. The Doctor's Calling, I'll Be There is a very kind of cheesy song. Like, this is, I think they went like way too far on this one, on the soft side. And Wanderlust is also a very good song. It has probably the best chorus on the whole album, like an amazing chorus, like really, really cool. So check this one out. Ecstasy 7, and the last two tracks I like, they go together. So Time, the beginning, and Time, the end. I like those two songs a lot. Kind of sad or depressing a little bit, but it seems like Dave is contemplating his mortality here. Kind of sad, but so I can appreciate the album for a non-heavy metal album. There's some nice stuff to listen to on here if you want to change, but if you're looking for anything remotely heavy metal, stay away from this one. One memory I have of this album is, for some reason, I associate this album with the fall, like the season. I'm guessing they came out in the fall, but also I remember playing Banjo-Kazooie for the N64 a lot, and I would be listening to this album at the same time. And there was a level, it was kind of like there was a big tree or something, and you were going between the seasons, like, you know, all the 4 seasons. And then, I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of the last 2 tracks here, because of talking about time and changing time and all that stuff. I don't know, I have Banjo-Kazooie, Risk, and the Fall connected in my mind for some reason. Okay. Now we're talking. So I missed an album in there. I don't have, what's it called? The World Needs a Hero, I think it's called. I have heard that album, but not in a very long time, but I never owned it. And I kind of gave up on Megadeth after Risk. I'm like, whatever, Megadeth, they're not going to release anything good ever again. And then I remember this album, The System Has Failed. Well, let me give you the stats first. So The System Has Failed came out in 2004. Once again, Dave, of course, on the vocals and guitar. And they got Chris Poland back. He was the original guitar player in Megadeth. On bass, they got Jimmy Lee Sloas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And on drums is Vinny Colauta. I don't know how you say that either. Sorry. I'm no expert. But I remember when the album, or released a few tracks on their website, and they released, let me get to the back here, it was Blackmailed Universe and Kick the Chair, and those are really heavy songs and actually very similar to something you would hear on Rust in Peace. And I was like, wow, where did this come from? Okay, I'm completely down for that. Plus they got Chris Paul in now, so okay, let's, this could be cool. Although I prefer Marty Friedman, but I thought, okay, maybe they're gonna go back to some heavy roots or something. But then they released one of the other songs. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a much softer song. So I was like, forget it. Forget about Megadeth. But let me go back to the cover. But then, oddly enough, what got me to buy this album was I saw a cartoon. It was called Duck Dodgers. Duck Dodgers. Yeah, Duck Dodgers. It's basically Daffy Duck in space, like a sci-fi cartoon. And I can't remember if I saw it online or if it was on TV. But there was one episode that starred Megadeth. Megadeth was in this episode, like animated versions of them, but they were doing their own voices and stuff. And there was a scene at the end of the show where Megadeth had to do this concert, and something like Daffy Duck was using the energy they created to defeat these invading aliens, something like that. But at this concert, they played one of the songs from this album. It was Back in the Day, I think it's called. Yeah, Back in the Day. And I heard that, I'm like, holy crap, this song is awesome. Is this a real Megadeth? Like, does this song exist, or did they create it for this episode? Like, I was very impressed, and I looked it up, and I found out that the song is from this album. And I'm like, holy crap, I gotta get this album. So I ended up buying the album, and I listened to this album so many freaking times. At the time, I had to take public transportation to work, which took a long time, so I listened to this over and over and over again on my iPod. And yeah, it's fantastic. So let's get to the track listings here. Blackmailed Universe, like I said, very reminiscent of something you would hear on Rust in Peace. Die Dead Enough is an okay song, more reminiscent of their more modern Megadeth stuff. Kick the Chair, also very similar to Rust in Peace. The Scorpions, okay. Tears in a Vial's okay. I Know Jack, it's kind of like a short, not really an instrumental, but they take an audio clip from, I think, some presidential debate or something like that. Back in the Day was, like I said, that was the song from Duck Dodgers, and it's a very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not retro, but, a song where they reminisce on the old days, and how metal was in the old days, and, like, people today won't really understand what it was like and how awesome it was, that kind of thing, and just the music and everything is just such an awesome song, man, such an awesome song. Something that I'm not, Truth Be Told, Of Mice and Men is another cool song that's very much about Dave looking back on his life, and he goes through like he goes from like when he's 17 and then to 25, and then he's going through the years of his life, like decade by decade kind of, but he kind of stops after 25. I would rather see him go up to his current age, but anyways, it's a really cool song. Nice heavy riffs. Shadow of Death and My Kingdom. Shadow of Death is kind of like, I think it's like basically a Bible verse or something, but it's a cool song. So yeah, overall, very good album. I highly recommend it. This is one of my favorite Megadeth albums. It may take some time to grow on you. And Chris Paul is great. He has a very unique style. And the cover, I didn't mention, the cover's not bad. As far as Megadeth album covers go, not bad. Okay. What's next? Oh. Okay, I kind of forgot an album here. Sorry, this is a little bit out of order. This is was sort of a collection of Megadeth songs that they had on movie soundtracks and other compilation albums. So yeah, and this is another bad cover. I mean, it's just like a very generic roadmap. You know, even the name of the album, like, it makes sense, Hidden Treasures, but it just kind of doesn't sound very metal, you know. Very basic backside here. So we have No More Mr. Nice Guy, which is a cover of an Alice Cooper song. And honestly, I like this version. I mean, the original is really cool too, but I kind of like this version better in a way. Dave added a couple of chords in that intro riff that really help. Breakpoint was, I didn't even know this until I prepared for this video, but this song was from the Super Mario Brothers, I guess, movie soundtrack. And so that was kind of surprising. It's a pretty good song, nice heavy song, kind of sounds like, I would say, something between Rest in Peace and Countdown era. Go to Hell was from the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey soundtrack, and this is such a cool song. I remember seeing the video many times on TV before I even got this album, and that main riff, man, that's such an evil, powerful sounding riff. Love it. Video's kind of corny, but you know, what can you do? Awesome solos, of course. Angry Again, this is an awesome song, and it's from the soundtrack of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Last Action Hero. And if you look up the clip on YouTube where they use this song, it's basically, there's a movie within the movie, and the movie's called Jack Slater 4, and this kid's watching it in the theater, and the intro to the movie plays this song. It's such a cool intro. They should make movies like that these days, man. You gotta watch it, look it up on YouTube. But Megadeth, Last Action Hero scene, and you'll probably find it. Very cool song. 99 Ways to Die. I mentioned in my last video that's the first Megadeth song that I heard, and because they had video of it, and it's from the, I think, some Beavis and Butthead compilation album originally. Great song. Paranoid, of course, is Black Sabbath cover. I guess I like the original better, but it's a good cover. Diadems, something like that. This was from a soundtrack, I think, of a Tales from the Crypt movie. How much I did see that movie, maybe. I mean, it's out in theaters, but it's a pretty cool song. Kind of a, creepy song, I guess. Kind of sounds like maybe from Euthanasia era Megadeth. And Problems is a cover of a Sex Pistols song, I believe. So a pretty cool album. I like that each song is completely different and has like different production and all that. Like, I don't always like that, but for this kind of album, that's kind of cool. Each song has a completely different feel, so I recommend it. Okay, next is another one I missed. Well, it's not really a Megadeth album, but I might as well talk about this now, because when am I going to get a chance? It's a Megadeth tribute album called Mecca Dead instead of Death. A tribute to Megadeth. I'm not sure what that is or who that is on the cover. Just looks like a generic stock cover that they used for this album, but whatever. That's fine. And yeah, so you got all these different bands covering songs. You have Dark Side doing Go to Hell, Fury doing Symphony of Destruction, Mind Ashes doing Holy Wars, Skull Crusher doing Take No Prisoner, Killswitch doing The Conjuring, Fairlight doing Angry Teen, Habeas Corpus doing Peace Cells, Abhorrence doing She-Wolf, Wasteland doing Reckoning Day, Pessimist doing Killing Is My Business, Fatal Influence does Hook and Mouth, and Deimos does Looking Down the Cross. And not the greatest, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Like, you can't. It's hard to do Megadeth better than Megadeth does Megadeth. So I'd prefer if covers that the bands put their own twist on the songs, you know what I mean? And some of them did. Like Killing Is My Business by Pessimist, they really like amped it up and made it more heavy and like more almost like death metal drumming and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But the other songs almost just are mostly like carbon copies, or they're trying to do carbon copies of the originals, and it's just like low production values and stuff like that. So I don't know, I wouldn't really recommend this, but that's up to you. If you're a hardcore Megadeth collector, they kind of sound like demos, like some of these, like Fury, the Symphony of Destruction, and it sounds like if you told me that was an actual Megadeth demo of Symphony of Destruction, I'd probably believe it. But it just had like low production values. I kind of heard it. Okay. Alright, the rest of the albums I'm gonna go through pretty quick, because to be honest, I don't have too much to say about these albums. I don't have too much memory of them. I don't even remember owning half of these albums that I'm about to show you. So anyways, let's just go through it. This is United Abominations, released in 2007. So it's Dave Mustaine once again, Glenn Drover on lead guitar, James Lomenzo on bass, and Sean Drover on drums. First of all, the artwork is amazing, probably one of the best, if not the best, Megadeth covers. Very well done. You can see this angel, and there's Vic, and then you have all these like missiles coming in. Really cool artwork. Let me adjust my mic here for a second. Okay, that's better. So it's got that going for it. Even the back is really cool. Got Vic looking down. He's got these keys in his hand. The angel, once again, you can see all the detail. It's almost cooler than the cover. Almost. So the track listing here is Sleepwalker, Washington is Next, Never, Walk Alone, Call to Arms, United Abominations, Gears of War, Blessed Are the Dead, Play for Blood, A Tout Le Monde, America's Den, You're Dead, and Burnt Ice. So, like I said, I'll say it like this. The production is really good. It's a really heavy album. Very well made, very well produced. Probably their heaviest album in years up to this point. But for some reason, like, nothing really stands out on this album. It seems like Dave's passion, vocally his passion doesn't seem there. The solos are great, but again, nothing is really all that memorable to me. That's just my opinion. You can have your own opinion, that's fine. It just didn't really do anything for me. I don't know why. I had a really hard time getting into this album. But there's some good stuff on here, there's no doubt about that. Sleepwalker is pretty cool. What was the other one that I liked a lot? Was it Play for Blood, maybe? I don't know. See, I have a hard time remembering anything from this album. And I have, like, no memories associated with this album either. Maybe because, by that point in my life, when you're younger, things are changing a lot, and you associate music with different things happening at that time in your life. But once you become an adult, it's kind of like, okay, whatever, my life's gonna be the same pretty much going forward, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, I wish I could really say more. A Tout Le Monde, yeah, it's a remake, I guess, or a new version of a song they had on Euthanasia, but he has some female singer from another heavy metal band, an Italian band. I can't remember what their name is off the top of my head, and she has an amazing voice, like really good job. It sounds great in this song, but still I feel it's like unnecessary to recreate the song. Like they should have did a new song together instead of going back to a previous Megadeth song. But kind of like how Metallica releases, they're up to Unforgiven Part 57, as you can see from the song titles, it's a very political album, probably more so than any of their previous albums, and that's true going forward from now. It seems like Megadeth gets more and more political, which is fine, I guess, but I kind of like, it's very specific. Like, they always had their political songs in the past, like Peace Out, but it was fine, but it was kind of more general, I guess. The stuff he's talking about here is very specific, and I don't know, for me, I'd just rather have it be more symbolic and also talking about personal stuff, I guess, like stuff that everyone can relate to, but whatever, it's a matter of taste, I guess. Okay, the next album is Endgame. This album came out in 2009, and let's see. So Dave Mustaine once again, Chris Broderick on the lead guitar, James Lomenzo again on bass, and Sean Jover on drums. So first I'll say that the album artwork is pretty crappy in my opinion. It looks like one of those 3D art posters, clearly done with a computer, and it just does nothing for me. And it's not even their worst album cover, but not a good album cover. Again, everything I'm saying is just my opinion. Actually, the back looks cooler than the cover. I wish that was the cover. So you see Dave holding his guitar there, and wow, okay, that's a really hard to read track listing here. I'm gonna have to hold this closer to my face. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. There is Dialectic Chaos. This Day We Fight. 44 minutes. 1,320. Bite the Hand. Bodies. Endgame. The hardest part of letting go, sealed with a kiss. Head Crusher. How the Story Ends, and The Right to Go Insane. Wow. So this is better in my opinion than their previous album. It's a more, there's something about the production, and I guess maybe the music as well, that makes it's just more heavy, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more raw, more of a classic Megadeth sound in my opinion than their previous album. And yeah, I like this album definitely better than what was it called? Yeah, United Abominations. Some of the songs I liked, I think it was this one that had a really cool, see, I can't even remember. 44 minutes isn't bad. I think probably my favorite song is 1320, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was kind of like a what's that song called? 502. Kind of reminds me of 502 type song. Endgame is pretty cool. Head Crusher is a really good song. This starts out really cool, really heavy, and it's a really cool lead. And if I remember correctly, that's the song they released publicly, like before the album was released. So yeah, so it's an alright album. I think it might grow on me if I listen to it a few more times. Like I said, I probably didn't even listen to it that many times. So okay, next up is 13. Wait, is this, I'm guessing this is, I just realized this is probably their 13th album. That would probably make sense. So there you see Vic. You know, you see his back. And it's an alright album cover, I guess. Nothing terrible, but nothing great. Once again, I had so few memories of this album, but re-listening to it, I skimmed through it for this video, and you know what, it's kind of catchy. There's a lot of catchy stuff on here. It's not nearly as heavy as their last couple of albums, but it's definitely a more catchy album, but not as heavy as their previous two albums. And a lot more memorable stuff on here. Sudden Death. I think this is the one that starts off. It kind of reminds me of what's that song? Into the Lungs of Hell. Enemy #1 is a very catchy song. Whose Life Is It Anyways? It's a good song, but the lyrics are kind of cringy. Because Dave is talking about how he's like, oh, I don't know exactly, but it's something like, oh, you don't approve of the clothes I wear or how I wear my hair. I'm like, Dave, you're like 60 years old. Like, you shouldn't be even care what people think of your clothes and hair by that age. We the People, Guns, Drugs, and Money, Never Dead, New World Order, Fast Lane, cool song, Black Swan, Wrecker, Millennium of the Blind, and Deadly Nightshade. And track 13 is 13. Pretty clever. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty catchy. I think this album will grow on me too once I listen to it. I just wish if they combined this album, like the catchiness of this album with the heaviness and rawness of Endgame, I think you would have a absolute classic Megadeth album. Oh, I just noticed Vic is in a coffin here. Wow, that's cool. I don't know, once again, that's just my opinion. Okay, finally, the last Megadeth album I have is... It's very colorful indeed. Super Collider. I didn't even, when I looked through my Megadeth collection, I'm like, this album exists. I had no memory of this, or no memory of buying it. The cover is interesting. It's very colorful, like I said. It's not their worst album, but again, it kind of looks like a 3D or a poster or something like that. But I don't know. It doesn't look like a Megadeth. You know what I mean? And once again, the artwork on the back is cooler in my opinion. You have this like big, almost like an Iron Man Vic robot or Iron Giant, looking all cool. So that might have been a better cover. I guess he's destroying the Super Collider. And then I realized when I was preparing for this video that I don't think I even listened to this album. Maybe I listened to it once or skimmed through it, but I guess I wasn't. Nothing really caught my ear, so I didn't really ever listen to it again. But I skimmed through the songs, like I said, preparing for this, and I'm not really ready to have an opinion on the songs yet. There's some interesting stuff here, maybe, but some of the stuff is like, I don't know. I'd have to listen to it more. The production is very good. I'll give it that. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Oh, and the video is kind of interesting. I'll just keep it at that of Super Collider. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving it any kind of comments beyond that, just because I have such a lack of experience with the album. So yeah, that concludes my Megadeth CD collection. I hope I didn't sound too harsh on this particular video. I love Megadeth, but I love their older albums more. And even some of the albums in this video, like I said, The System Has Failed. It's one of my favorite Megadeth albums ever. And Cryptic Writings is a great album too. Hidden Treasures, it's just the more recent ones. They're good, but I guess I have to listen to them more. Maybe they'll grow on me. It's funny how that works, where suddenly, for some reason, a particular album you didn't like in the past will all of a sudden click with you, right? So, anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it relaxing, and as always, leave your opinions in the comments section below. I like to see what people think and what they think their best albums are. Just be nice, there's no reason to be angry or say, oh, Metallica's better. I mean, you can say Metallica's better, but to say, oh, Megadeth sucks, Metallica's the best, like, come on, man, they're both great bands. You know that. Everyone knows that. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.